Ever get the feeling someone's dodging a question? Like really dodging?
Oh, yeah?
Well, imagine it's under oath
Oh, wow.
in a high-profile case.
Yeah.
And that's where we're diving in today with you
All right.
as our honorary legal analyst.
I like that.
We're about to unpack some seriously intriguing legal documents
Okay.
from a 2016 defamation case,
Mm-hmm.
Virginia Giuffre versus Ghislaine Maxwell.
Right.
You probably recognize those names. The story sent shockwaves through the media.
Yeah, a case that really brought to light the complexities of power dynamics
Absolutely.
and the serious nature of such allegations.
And you've provided us with a treasure trove of sources for this deep dive.
Yes.
Emails between Maxwell and her attorney,
Right.
court motions.
Yeah.
Even excerpts from Maxwell's actual deposition transcript.
Yeah, these are more than just legal filings. They
Right.
provide a glimpse into the strategies at play behind the scenes
Yeah.
of a very high-stakes legal battle.
And that's what we're here to uncover.
Yeah.
We want to understand how Maxwell responded to these serious accusations during her deposition.
Okay.
Did she reveal too much? Or did she manage to keep some secrets buried under legal jargon?
Sometimes it's what's left unsaid
Ooh.
that can be the most telling.
I like that.
Yeah.
Reminds me of that saying, silence speaks volumes.
Right.
But before we get ahead of ourselves,
Okay.
let's rewind to January 2015.
Okay.
We have an email here from Maxwell to her lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
and even back then,
Yeah.
she was already expressing concern about a potential lawsuit, particularly around the issue of defamation.
Defamation in this context means that Giuffre is accusing Maxwell of making false statements that harmed her reputation,
Right.
a significant claim
Wow.
with serious legal consequences.
This wasn't just a casual conversation.
No.
She was clearly worried about the language being used
Right.
in this email.
Yeah.
She even mentions being concerned about the implications of calling someone a liar.
This suggests that Maxwell and her legal team were already anticipating the gravity of Giuffre's accusations.
Okay.
They knew that any direct contradiction of those accusations could be legally treacherous.
So even at this early stage,
Yeah.
they were already strategizing about how to approach these allegations.
Absolutely.
It's fascinating to see how these initial concerns play out later in the legal proceedings.
Right.
And speaking of strategy, this is where the plaintiff's motion to compel comes into play.
Okay.
Now, I know that sounds like legal jargon,
Mm-hmm.
but it's actually a pretty crucial document.
It's basically Giuffre's legal team saying, hold on, you can't just ignore these questions.
Right.
They argued that Maxwell was evading a significant number of their questions during the deposition.
And at the heart of this back and forth
Yes.
was Maxwell's repeated reliance on a particular defense,
Yeah.
consensual adult activity.
Okay.
It's almost as if she used this phrase as a shield
Interesting.
to avoid answering any questions that might dig deeper into her relationship with Epstein.
This tactic, while controversial, is a calculated legal maneuver. If her team could successfully paint a picture of Maxwell's involvement with Epstein as solely consisting of legal, consensual interactions between adults,
Right.
it would drastically undermine Giuffre's defamation claims.
So, in essence, Maxwell is trying to control the narrative,
Mm-hmm.
shifting the focus away from potentially illegal activities.
Exactly.
It makes you wonder what she's working so hard to conceal behind this consensual facade.
Exactly.
This strategy raises some serious questions.
Yeah.
If everything was as innocent as her defense suggests,
Right.
wouldn't she be eager to provide more detailed answers and clear her name definitively?
That's what I find so intriguing.
Let's delve into the deposition transcript itself. It's like stepping right into the middle of this legal chess match.
Yeah.
One of the things that struck me was Maxwell's response,
Mhm.
or lack thereof, when questioned about Johannes Sjoberg.
Mm.
Now, Sjoberg is another woman who claims she was recruited by Maxwell for Epstein.
Sjoberg's account is significant because it echoes Giuffre's allegations, alleging a pattern of being recruited for seemingly legitimate work, like massage therapy, which then escalated to sexual abuse.
But when asked about Sjoberg, Maxwell's go-to response is essentially, I don't recall.
Right.
It's like she's playing a frustrating game of memory block, dodging any specifics.
That's a common tactic in depositions, especially when facing questions that could be incriminating.
Okay.
It allows someone to avoid giving a direct answer without explicitly perjuring themselves.
Legally savvy, but it leaves so much unanswered.
Yeah.
And it's not just Sjoberg's accusations. Maxwell also danced around questions regarding Epstein's specific sexual preferences, even during the massages he was known for.
It's curious, isn't it?
Yeah.
You'd think that in a case focused on sexual abuse, details about the abuser's behavior would be relevant.
Right.
However, Maxwell's legal team fought hard, arguing that this line of questioning was inappropriate and irrelevant to the defamation claims at hand.
So they're sticking to this very specific strategy of only addressing accusations that directly link Maxwell to illegal activity, all while trying to keep the focus on this consensual adult narrative.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you wonder, though, what about other potential pieces of evidence?
Okay.
Were there any questions regarding things like travel logs or financial records that Maxwell avoided?
You've hit on a crucial point. Maxwell was indeed questioned about financial records, particularly those that might show payments to alleged victims.
Right.
Her responses were remarkably similar to those regarding Stjoberg and Epstein's behavior, vague and shrouded in "I don't recall" statements.
Wow.
This pattern of evasiveness when it comes to potentially incriminating documents speaks volumes.
It's like she's built these legal walls around certain topics, trying to keep them out of bounds. But by doing so, it's hard not to wonder what she's so determined to hide.
Right.
If she was truly unaware of any wrongdoing, wouldn't she be more forthcoming with information that could potentially clear her name?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yep.
This strategy of selective memory and carefully constructed responses raises serious doubts. It begs the question, was this purely a legal tactic, a genuine case of hazy memory, or something more calculated?
It really makes you question her motivations.
Yeah.
And for me, this is where it gets even more unsettling.
Okay.
We're not just talking about legal maneuvering. We're talking about real lives potentially impacted by these alleged actions.
Absolutely.
And it forces us to confront the uncomfortable reality of power dynamics in these situations. Maxwell, with her wealth and connections, was able to employ a team of lawyers to craft a very specific defense, controlling the narrative to a certain extent.
Right.
While the court of law operates on evidence and legal arguments, the court of public opinion is often less forgiving, relying on perception and unanswered questions. It's like she's tried to draw a line in the sand, carefully selecting what to reveal, while this tide of unanswered questions keeps rising around her.
A powerful image and a fitting one for this case. And this brings us to a crucial point for you, our listener.
Okay.
These unasked, or rather unanswered questions highlight the importance of critical thinking when examining legal battles.
Right.
We must consider the perspectives of all those involved and acknowledge the limitations of what we can know based solely on legal strategy.
We can't just take things at face value, right? Especially when we're dealing with a case with such serious implications.
Precisely. While Maxwell's legal team aimed to create a very specific narrative, her evasiveness inadvertently puts a spotlight on the very topic she's trying to avoid. This gap between what's said and what remains unsaid encourages us to grapple with the full weight of these allegations.
It's a reminder that justice isn't always a clear-cut verdict.
Right.
Sometimes it's about unraveling layers of legal strategy and questioning what lies beneath the surface. What do you think, as someone who understands the intricacies of the legal system, what is the lasting impact of these unanswered questions in cases like this?
That's a great question, and I think it goes beyond this single case.
Okay.
When powerful individuals utilize their resources to shape a narrative, it underscores the importance of continued scrutiny and investigation.
Okay.
The court of public opinion, while separate from a court of law, plays a crucial role in holding those in positions of power accountable.
So in a way, these unanswered questions keep the conversation going.
They do.
They challenge us to keep digging for the truth, even when it's buried under legal maneuvering.
Exactly. And they remind us that true justice isn't just about winning or losing a case. It's about pursuing a deeper understanding of complex situations and advocating for those whose voices might otherwise be silenced.
This deep dive has been a masterclass in reading between the lines, wouldn't you say?
I think so.
It just goes to show sometimes the most revealing answers are the ones that are never spoken.
Indeed. And as more information comes to light, we must remain vigilant, questioning what we think we know, and demanding accountability from those in positions of power.
You've given us a lot to think about today.
It's a fascinating case.
It's clear that this case is far from closed, even with the legal proceedings concluded.
Right.
As always, we encourage you, our astute listener, to continue exploring the complexities of this case and forming your own conclusions. Remember, every piece of information, Every question asked and unanswered adds another layer to our understanding of this complex story.
Very well said.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.
Thank you.